Hello and welcome to Hobby Log number 145. Now it's actually Wednesday evening as I stand here talking to you because tomorrow we go on a family holiday, but I'm not about to let 145 weeks in a row slip for something as, you know, silly as that. So this is a short week because it's only been a few days. This video will still be going live on the Sunday. Yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it. There's been a fair amount of awesome hobbying with Rosie. I've done some bit on the plane in memory of my dad and a few other bits and pieces as well. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Do reply to every single one of them, so don't be shy. And yeah, enjoy the video and I'll see you again at the end. Alright, so both sides have had PVA added to them, so let's see whether we get any warp or not. So what I've got here is some offcuts of the blue foam, and I'm just going to basically trim it down to be the correct dimensions for this piece of wood. Now I'm not going to keep the whole thing covered with blue. I've actually got a very light pencil line coming along here, which is where the land is going to be. But what this will mean I can do, I can sit this like that, and then now I can basically work out roughly where I want the land to be. And as I say, it's going to roughly come like this. Something like that. And what I can then do is come along with this knife and roughly along that line and at an angle I can carve this out. This knife is getting a bit blunt. I'm going to need to get a new blade. And as they always say, and as is very, very true, a blunt blade is far more dangerous than a sharp one. So we've carved that to an angle. So I'm now going to just make it not quite so sharp. I don't want it to be so sharp. There we are. And we've got the beginnings. Of our terrain. So the next thing I'm going to do is do the same thing, taking from the other side of this offcut, and then I'm going to put another level on top of this, glue them together. So I'll get the other one cut out and then show what it looks like when it's all glued together. Okay, so we've got our two pieces. They're not perfect, but they're certainly going to be good enough. What I'm going to do now is glue them together first. Before I put them onto the wood back, I am going to glue them together. And I'm going to make use of PVA for this because I want to be able to cut it maybe, because I think I might need to trim it again a bit. But I want it to be nicely sealed, nicely stuck together before I start trying to work out and get the exact contours of the top. And I think I will do a very small amount of modelling compound on this as well. I think I'll need to. So there we are. What we'll do is I'll put a weight on top of that and leave that to dry for a fair while. Let's grab some weights, and then when that's dry, I'll bring you back for the next step. There we are. Won't move now. Right, so what I'm going to do now is mix up some snow paste. This is what I've got, the Woodland Scenic Soft Flake Snow. And I'm using the snow paste mix recipe from Setting the Scene by Pat Smith, which is a fantastic book. Really like that book. So if you don't own it, go and get it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get a spoon because it's a 2 parts, 1 part, 1 part. So I'll get a couple of spoons and we will mix this as accurately as we can. So what I'm going to do is 4 parts Woodland Scenic's Soft Flake Snow. So I may run out and I have got another pack. So what I'll do is get 4 parts snow. I might just do 2 parts. I might halve the quantities for this. So there's one. Spilled a bit. I'll I'll scrape that up. There's 2. So it then says 1 part PVA or woodland scenics water, and I think you get different effects based on if you use PVA or water. So what I'll do now is 1 part. So it says 2 parts, so I'll do 1 part, and then 1 part water. So I'll use a smaller spoon to get the amount of water, and then what we'll do is we'll mix it all up to make ourselves a paste. So let's see how well this works. I'm going to make use of a lollipop stick to mix, and also I'll probably use the lollipop stick to apply. So this is what it's looking like. I may need to mix up another batch, but I'd rather have too little than too much at this stage, because I really hate waste, and it might be that that does actually end up being enough. Right, so with that mixed, let's move the camera in a little bit closer, and we'll have a look and see how I go about applying it. Okay, so we've got our paste, and we've got our piece. Paste and pieced. Not pieced, piece, but it is snow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this. I don't want to cover the entirety of the model with snow. I do want some of that brown to still come through, but I do also want it to look like there's, well, quite a lot of snow. Now that little gap there I need to leave so I can glue the slayer in place. And it's good. Looks like I have actually mixed up too much, ironically. So I'm glad I halved my quantities. I'm not sure how well this stuff keeps, whether you can cover it and put it in the fridge and it doesn't go off. Probably doesn't keep at all. Right, so let's have a quick look and see how that looks. See if I need to put any more on. Yeah, I think if I glue that in place, I've got it nicely underneath. If I glue that in place, I can then put some going up the sides. So, where's my glue? There's my glue. Get some super glue. Have another look through and turn it around and just have a quick look all the way around. This is something that's very important to do, is look at it from all angles. I think maybe that looks good. Might put a little bit more in just under there. So a little bit more in here. And then super glue on the bottom of that. Super glue on the sides of this, just so it definitely grabs. And then put it in place. There we are. And then we can come and build this snow up a little bit longer, a little bit more. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the slayer in place. So I want it to look like it's kind of buried into the snow a little bit there. There we are. I might come around the other side. Try not to let it drip too much, but I honestly don't mind it coming down the side a bit. I might need to clean that off in a second. Just fill these gaps in. There we are. So now a judicious finger just to take that drip off. And now what we're going to do is stick some super glue on this and hope I can still find the hole. But in one sense it doesn't matter. Ah, there we are. Found it. There we are. So I've still got quite a bit Well, that drifted off camera. Apologies, I was paying so much attention to what I was doing, I was forgetting about the camera, which does happen. Yeah, so that's now in place, as you can see. Yeah, just gonna probably waste this snow effect, which is a bit of a shame, but I don't want to put any more on. So there we are. I'm quite pleased with that. I'll let that dry. I'll keep an eye on it, try to make sure that this doesn't drip down too much. Might put I'll put a bit more snow on if I can. From memory, I don't know whether this might actually work, where I can actually, when it's dried, I can crumble it and then put some PVA and sprinkle it over the top to make it look a little bit more sparkly. So I'll leave that in there, I won't throw it away, and see how that looks when it's dry. But there we are, dragon slain. Well, this is glued together nicely, and I've just done a little bit of a shave, but not very much, just to take it to there. What I'm now debating is whether to glue it on or whether to do the backdrop first and then glue it on, because what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, again, I'll try to remember to put that picture up at this point over the screen. What I'm debating doing is actually painting the rain on first. So that would involve some techniques that I don't do very often, which is always good, because it's always nice to stretch yourself and do something a bit different. So we'd be looking at putting some blues and some greys as the backdrop, and then white and brown for the rain coming down here. So I think I'm going to do that. The other thing that I can do before I stick this on is I might actually cover this with modelling compound before I stick it on as well. So those are the two things I can do. And thirdly, I need to do the sculpting of the monster beast, and dinner, which is really where my stretching is going to be. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is the modelling compound, so that can go off. So I won't film that because you've seen me do it lots, and if you haven't, there's all sorts of examples on my channel. But I'm just going to mix a very, very small amount and just cover the blue with modelling compound, and also just to kind of like cover the blue and give it a bit of texture. So I'll get that done, and then I'll bring you back when I start to do the painting and when I start to do the sculpting. Right, I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go, but I'm going to attempt to paint the backdrop now. So I've got some colours here, I've got some more paints just off shot, got loads and loads of brushes, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to put some music on and just paint, and hopefully it's going to turn and look a little bit like a cloudy day. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to mix that colour. It's dark on this side, getting lighter to this one. So hopefully I'm going to be able to make it work. But let's see, this is out of my comfort zone, but you just got to give things a try, haven't you? Well, there we are. We'll see how I feel about that tomorrow. I'm pretty happy. It may need lightening up a little bit, but I should be able to do that once that's dried. And then when I'm totally happy with the backdrop, then I'll do the paint on it. But I'm going to let that to dry now and have a look at it in the morning. Well, last night I managed just about to get one of the wings on, but this has been a bit of a pain actually. The instructions on this kit aren't great. As you can see, I've had to open the wing, split it open slightly so that it would actually fit in and be the correct shape, which is not made very clear on the instructions. If you're making this kit, I would maybe even recommend that you stick the bottom wing on first, then stick the top wing on, then put these front and back bits of the engine on. You'll get a much better result. So what I'm about to try and do now is put the other wing on. I'd let that overnight to go off. So I'm going to try and put the other wing on, and hopefully that will work, and then we'll be not far off time for painting, which is very exciting. So yeah, just going to get this done, just doing it little bits and pieces. It's nice to be back to the project though. Right, here we are again, back with my super duper duper helper, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some dry brushing, so just get the very tip of it in, that's all you need, don't need more than that. Take most of it off, like that, most of it off, and then brush it over the top of the grey. And we're going to get all of this, like this, quite light brushes. And what we're going to do is once we've done this, we will then think about what other colours that you might want on the bottom, and we will add them on. So put some paint on, take most of it off on the paper towel. Paper towel first, don't forget that bit, good girl. And try to remember where you've done, and do where you, and don't do the same bit over and over again. Right,
it's so hard.
It is hard, but you're very, very good at it. So keep going, there's still enough paint on there, you don't need to get more paint yet. Just like that, you see? Very good girl, well done. No, you can keep going, you don't need more paint, you've got plenty of paint on your brush. Right upright. See how upright mine is? That's it, good girl, there we are, there we are. Oh, no, whoa, that was way too much. Just touch the top of the paint. Let me take that off, it's okay. Good girl, right now take most of the paint off on that. Lots of the paint off, really take lots of paint off, we don't want it smearing. Good girl, that's perfect. Don't do that yet, no, we're going to come back to do that later. It's not time to do that bit yet. Remember, in hobbying, it's all about patience. And
what's it?
Oh, you'll see that in a minute, I'll show you that in a second. Right, let's turn this round, we've done this side pretty much. Let's turn this around, get a little bit more paint, don't dip it right in, just a little bit. Take most of it off over on this towel. Lots of it off, there we are, and now dry brush. Yeah, let's turn it over, very good girl. Now, nice and light. Take most of it off on your towel. Bit more of that off on the towel, keep going. That's it, good girl. And now, now brush it dry, don't get more paint.
And this was turning round.
Okay. I thought you were going to try and put more paint on. You are doing an excellent job. Don't worry about if you touch these sides. Try not to, but don't worry if you do. And there we are. That is pretty much done, I think. No, take paint off. Take paint off, remember. It's dry brushing, so you need to remember to take the paint off. There we are. No, you do it. There we are. It's ready now. Good. Cool.
We need to do that side.
We've done that side. That's all we need. We're going to do more colours out on this. But if you think about it, Rosie, this is underneath the shadow, so it's going to be darker under here than it is out here.
I like to do.
What colour will you want to do next?
I like to do purple.
Right. Okay. So next time we'll do purple. Okay.
Yes, purple.
And what after that?
Orange.
Purple and orange. I thought you might say that. Right, but we need to let that dry. We need to wash these brushes, and then we could do purple and orange. Okay? Good girl. Well, this has been incredibly frustrating, but I'm getting there. I really do think I am. And there's loads of problems with the instructions and the order in which they tell you to do things. And yeah, so if you're going to be making this kit, then I've made the mistake so that you don't have to. So first of all, basically, what you really should be doing is not sticking the wings together before you attach them to the fuselage. You can see here that I've actually just a second attached the top of the wing to the bottom of the wing. But what you need to do, and I've taken these apart 3 or 4 times now, what you need to do is stick the bottom of the wing on underneath, and once this is dry I'll come and do a little bit more of a clearer video, but stick the bottom of the wing on, let it dry, and then the top of the wing actually butts up against this little protuberance here. It doesn't go over the top. Now, probably, if I'd realised that and if I paid a bit more attention, you can see, actually, when I just offer it up, you can see there's a little bit of overlap, which is absolutely fine. You're not looking at lining this side up with that. You're looking at lining it at the wingtip end, which means this is slightly further out there, which is how it slots in underneath this shape, and then the top of the wing aligns with the top of that shape. It's really not clear in the instructions. As I've been over this, I've taken the wings apart, literally sliced with my knife down between to undo the glue 3 or 4 times. Finally got there, finally feeling a bit happier. While I'm doing this, one of the tail planes fell off, which is a shame on the rudders, which is a shame, but I'll glue that back on. But I'm getting there. Nothing worthwhile is easy. This hasn't been easy, but it's definitely worthwhile. So yeah, yeah, just really happy that I've worked it out, and we're moving forwards. So that's dried, and a couple of things to say is the warp on this is basically nothing, which I don't know what I did wrong the first time I tried the paint glue on both sides of MDF, but seriously, so pleased. So whoever it was that said that in my video recently, thank you so much for making that comment and nudging me and pushing me to try it again, because yeah, I'm sure this would have warped terribly if I hadn't done that. So yeah, that's a lesson learned. I must have made a mistake or done something stupid the previous time, which wouldn't be the first time. But yeah, brilliant. So thank you, double thumbs up. Look at that, double thumbs up. Second thing is, I'm relatively happy with how this looks. I might now go for the painting in of the rain, which is going to be done with with white and brown. I'm not sure how well it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go now. So first of all, I'm going to come in with the brown, I think, and I'm actually going to use the toothpick for this. So I think that's going to be the best way to do it, and that's all nice and dry and looks great now as well. So I've got my Winsor & Newton raw umber here, and I've got some toothpicks here. And what we're going to do is come along and draw some straight lines coming down like this, and I'll let this dry and then come over the top with some whites and what have you and greys. And there's just going to be lots and lots of lines. I might get a brush if this isn't working. I thought it would work best with a toothpick, but it isn't. So I might get a brush. Yeah, I'm going to get a brush. That's not working as well as I wanted it to. But yeah, so we're just going to draw lots and lots of lines like that. Let me see if I've got a small brush. I do. And that will be the rain falling. So I'll put some music on, if this works. That's better. Actually, that's probably even too big. This is quality entertainment as always. That one. I have lots and lots of brushes. There we are. Yeah, so I'll put some music on, and you can watch how this develops. Happy enough with how that's turning out so far. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same brown as it happens, and I'm going to paint that all over the this ridge, the land, whatever, and then I can flock it and what have you. It won't take me very long to do. There's also a little bit of a fence here, there's trees here, so there's a fair amount of scope for fun on this build actually, and I am really enjoying it. It's nice being out of your comfort zone, doing a bit of painting. Not really my, not really my thing. It's also really nice to be making things for Rosie. So yes, I'll get that painted up. May take 2 coats, not sure. But once that's all dried and it's got a really good base, then I will bring you back and we'll have a look at the flocking and the other details that are going to go on here. So the next element that I need to work on is a little bit of sculpting. So not sure whether I'll get that done next or not, but it does need to be thought about and not put off, because I think that could take me a little bit of time. But yeah, there we are. Let's let that dry, see if I need to put another coat on, which I probably will, to be honest. Well, this just arrived, which is awesome, because we go on holiday tomorrow. So now I'm going to be able to take this with us on holiday and have a game of it. So let's have a quick look in the box. Get this single-use plastic off, which I won't want to take with me anyway. This feels like it's arrived really quickly. I don't feel like I was expecting it quite so soon. So yeah, basically a game which plays apparently exactly like the old Nokia game, which I think is awesome. So we've just got a thin, oh, been torn, to tape that up. That's not very good. That's been torn in the cutter. You can see that it's missed the cut. I can fix that though, I don't care about that. Obviously got a blunt blade, a nice board, double-sided, which is pretty cool. Ah, lovely, look, gold painted apples, rocks, some dice, and the pieces. So I'll report back after my holiday as to how that is. I say hopefully it's a good fun game. It should be. It was a fun game on computer. We used to play it on the Nokia. But yeah, there we are. I'll just fix and tape that up. That'll be fine. I'll do that now. Cool. So I also had another delivery, which is here, which we'll take out of its packing. And this is a D&D book called Dome of Heroes, which I backed. I'm not entirely sure why. It had some pretty cool stuff in it, and I think at the time I was hoping that I might be able to get into D&D more. I still love playing it. I play a regular game with a bunch of friends. But yeah, I think I got it more for the artwork and the new book smell. That is superior. There we are. So what have we got here? We have class options, Dawnblade, roguish archetypes, some fantastic artwork. So there we are. Cool. Right, so that arrived as well, so I'll read that. I might take that on holiday and read it as well. Got some new races, Catfolk, Dwarves, Darrow, whatever Darrow are, Drow, Elf. So it does seem to have all the normal ones in there. It's a beautiful book though. Look at the cover is stunning, and I'll tell you what, the new book smell there is superb. So that's what arrived today. Probably last delivery we get for holiday. So but yeah, pretty happy about the snake game, I can tell you, and this will be fun to read. So, Rosie knows how to dry brush. She's just been telling me. Do you want to say, what do you do when you dry brush?
Put it on and clean it up.
Well done. So we make sure that we remove most of our paint on that before we put it on there. And we've picked 4 colours. We have purple, we have orange, we have bright pink, and we have bright yellow, and we're going to dry brush right now all together all over that with this. So as I always do, I've given them a good shake, and what we have is the paint pot lid so that we don't knock the paint over. So you put your brush in there, don't forget, you take it off.
Yeah.
Take lots of it off. That's it. And now very gently, oh, that's too much, little lighter, that's it. Oh, still got too much paint, Do very, very, very gentle. You do it, hold it very gently. Go here and brush across. There we are. Do you see how little you're getting off there? Right, you go. I'm not going to do any of this. This is going to be all Rosie. You don't need to get more paint. You have plenty of paint on there. That's it. Right.
Oh, you're buzzing.
That's it. So now brush all around everywhere. Once you've done one bit, move on. Over here. That's it. Right, let's move that closer to you. Very good. Now how about here? You got plenty of purple. You've had enough? What do you mean had enough? You only just started, child. Do you want to do the orange? Do you want to do the orange? Right, okay, well I'll finish the purple then, and then we'll do the orange. We're doing all 4 colours now. Watch how Daddy does it and you do the orange. Do you see how light I'm going?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing.
You do that with a different brush. Yes, so we've got 4 brushes for 4 colours.
Now we got 2.
There we are. Right, so that's all the purple. Look at that. Can you see how lovely that is now with the purple? Yes. So what we're going to do now is get the orange. And remember, take most of it off. Right, so, don't worry, that's dried paint. So dip it in there briefly, just a little bit. Don't dip it in too hard, otherwise you'll get too much on it. That's a little bit more maybe. Yeah, let me help. There we are. Right, now take most of it off on this paper. Lots and lots off. Turn it around. Turn it around. Oh, don't worry. We'll wash your hand. Right, that's good now. That's good now. Now dry brush very gently, remember. Hold it a little bit higher up and dry brush very gently. Very gently. That's it. Very good. Very good. Now move to another place and do a bit more somewhere else. Maybe here. Yeah. Wonderful. Can you see just a little bits going on? Yeah?
What's that?
That's dried paint. Right, do a little bit more over here. Over there, maybe. Underneath the arch in here. You had enough? Do you want me to do the rest of the orange? Right, I'll finish the orange.
I do.
And I'm going to put some...
Red.
Look.
I do a pink. I do a pink.
Okay, but look, Rosie, I'm putting some on... I was hoping that you were going to do all this dry brushing, but it's just a bit not so exciting, is it, doing small things? You want to do big things. I understand. There we are. So we'll just finish the orange. Can you see how it's bringing little patches of colour? It's not so much about having lots of colour as just the hint of colour. Right, so that's that. So you want to do pink now, do you?
No, you do that.
I'll do yellow next, shall I?
Yeah.
If I can get the yellow bottle open. Right. This yellow bottle doesn't want to open. I might use that yellow that's up there. Let me use that instead. Yeah, that opens. Right, so I'll use this one. So I'll do this one, yeah? And I'll use this dodgy brush. Right, watch.
That one not work?
Because I couldn't get the lid off and I can't be bothered fighting it. There we are, look. Look, what's the yellow?
Yeah. What's that?
That's dried paint.
This isn't coming off.
No, it's dry.
Why is it dry?
Because this is a very old pot of paint.
Oh, it's on there.
There we are, look.
Can I play with it?
You are playing with it.
Can I play with it?
Do you want to do the pink? Do you want to do the pink now?
You're not doing a pink.
Do you want to do the pink?
Yes.
I need that now, thank you. I'll sweep that up later. The chaos of working with a toddler. But you are awesome, Rosie, so it's okay. Right, so remember what you do. There's your paintbrush. Let's get you some clean paper. Put some paint on the brush. That's enough. Brush most of it off.
Oh!
Most of it off. You've got lots on there, so let's take lots of it off.
Oh!
There we are. Right, now you can, and now go for it. Brush, hot pink. Brush lots of places, not just in one place. Over here as well. Maybe around the corner. Let's turn this around. Good girl. Keep going. How awesome is that looking now? Do you like it? I do. There we are. And let's just put a little bit here. That's it. Turn the brush round.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, turn the brush around. You run out of paper. That's it, paint. There we are. So now you can go ahead.
No,
You want to do that top bit? You had enough now? Oh, well, you've done very well. Thank you very much for doing that. So we've not quite finished this project yet. We've got some wood to do, but we're going on holiday, aren't we, Rosie? So we will look at this when we get home from holiday, I think.
Can I do this?
Yes, of course you can. What do you think, love? Do you like it?
Yes.
Good.
What
Say,
colour noise?
that's it, we're done. We've done all 4. That's all the colours we're putting on. So say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good girl. We're ready. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to paint up some of these offcuts of sprue, and we're going to put them onto the build later. So what we've got here is we've got some brown paint, and what I wanted to do is get some paint and paint it onto that bit there. And I'll just show you, we're going to paint these sorts of funny shapes. Yeah, just get paint and slap it on all the way down there. That's it. That's it. Good girl. Keep going. Good girl. Right, we'll move that to one side and then do all of that. And these will end up getting stuck onto the build. And go right from the top if you want. These will end up getting stuck on the build, and we'll dry brush them later. Probably not before a holiday now. That's it. All the way to the top. All the way up. All the way to there. Very good. Right, we'll put that one to one side now. And now what I want to do is paint along there. So these are all sprue offcuts from blots, the buildings I've been doing recently. And there's some fantastic shapes. So I thought, you know what, we're going to do that. Perfect. Right, that's done. So now what we're going to do is paint this one and that one. So do that and that. So yeah, and they're just gonna, the idea is that this build potentially is maybe an old structure that's kind of, you know, from an ancient city, and these are going to be details which are left behind. So just these blocks here. So there's going to be these regular shapes that will also tie into the fact that there is some, a little bit more on that. There is, you've got plenty of paint on your paintbrush. So you don't need to have slapping paint on. You don't need to have lots and lots of paint. There's loads of paint there. There we are. Right, now we're nearly done. So yeah, these will be just these ones here, and finally that there, and then we're done on this. So yeah, so there's I've left the texture of the XPS on, which is potentially, don't put so much on because you'll be wasting a lot of paint by slapping so much on like that. Just take a little bit, take most of it off, and then paint. Like that. Right, last one. You've got enough paint in your paintbrush already. Just this bit here. Rosie loves slapping paint on the paintings, don't you, darling? More paint the merrier, yeah? Yeah. Anyway, so there we are. We will let that dry, and what we'll do is once that's dry, we will paint the other side, but we'll do that later. So if you just finish this off, we'll paint the other side, and then we'll dry brush it, and then we'll stick it in place. You've got plenty of paint on your paintbrush, love. She loves using paint. Oh, there we are. A short week, but it was still about 50 minutes of source material, which I've shrunk down by putting in the speeded up bits of music. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing Rosie having so much fun. I had a comment on the vlog last week saying, you need to make Rosie a stool. And funnily enough, she had brought a stool in herself to stand on because she's a smarter kid than her daddy, obviously. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Really appreciate it if you've managed to get this far. Yeah, I will be back again next week with a vlog, even though it'll be super short because it'll only be a couple of days of time for me to do any hobbying at all. Anyway, I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do, at the moment, if you're impacted directly or indirectly by the horrific war in Ukraine, my thoughts go out to you and anyone you know who is. And as always, please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.